Here's the method we're going to use to get ourselves the absolute best looking armor in the game. Myself and some friends spent some time this past month discovering different methods on how to get our hands on the Hurston Security Artimex armor and the LMG that they carry too. In this video, I'll show you exactly how we did it. We use the absolute basics where possible, from the combination of a Drake Cutter and a HoverQuad to an M2 and an STV, to show you that it's possible to do this whether you're new to the game or have some money in pocket to make the runs. Besides being able to wear the best looking armor in the game, you'll also be able to make yourself a real nice profit selling full sets to other players in global chat too. Let's get the fun started. Here's a quick list of everything you're going to need in order to make sure you get this started off without any problems. Before it all starts though, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button to make sure you're always in the loop on when there's new content on the channel, guides, or even podcast interviews about Star Citizen as they go live. We're on the way to 1,000 subs currently, and I would absolutely appreciate any and all support. Leave me a comment below if there's anything you'd do different in the guide, or if there's a guide you're specifically looking for. With that said, we're going to start out at the most common starting area for new players, which currently is Area 18. Head on over to the weapon and armor store and kit yourself out with armor and a weapon to start. The other important pieces to grab from here: med pens, a multi-tool with a tractor beam attachment, and another little usable called a Tiger's Claw. The Tiger's Claw chip is extremely important for the first part of our work. This is what's going to allow us to bring down the comms link around Hurston, so that we don't have to worry about security or crime stats while we head out and farm Artimex armor sets. Another useful pickup which you can find at the pharmacy or a med bay that's worth equipping would be the med gun. If med pens fail, you can always use one of these too. I like to grab a few frag grenades to bring along as well. We won't need to be silenced, although you can silence if you feel more comfortable that way. It's just not how we ran it. As for the ship, the only requirement is that you get your hands on something that can carry a small land vehicle. That's for this guide at least, because not even that is a complete requirement to farm this armor. I've gone with my starter ship, the Drake Cutter, a neat little magic school bus ship that can fit a Nova hoverbike, a HoverQuad, or an STV inside the back of it. Super useful starter ship, and still the starter ship I recommend for any new player looking to get into the verse. If you are a new player and you're trying to get in, here's my referral code. Gives us a little bit of bonus for both of us. You get 5,000 starting AUEC and I get another tick on my referral sheet. You don't have to use mine though, you can use any of your friends' ones as well. Just make sure you get yourself that bonus starter money when you sign up. Before we head into our hangar and leave, there's one more thing. We're going to stop by the rental desk. Again, this part is completely optional. You do not need a land vehicle and you do not need a hoverbike to do this. In fact, I'm going to release another video getting the Artimex armor without these things, so that you can see that even your little Aurora can take you Artimex hunting. Back to the current one though, we're going to stop at the rental desk. This completely optional part is literally just going to help us make the whole trip much quicker and easier. Here you can pick up a Nova, or if your ship is big enough, the Firefly works too. Personally, I already bought a HoverQuad from New Deal at Laravel, which is what I'll be taking on this trip. Once we've ticked off our shopping list, it's time to get out there into space. But before we head on to Hurston though, if you're going to be bringing a hoverbike for the first part of the trip, you'll want to stop here on Walla to pick up your hoverbike. I made sure to grab one of each of the bikes so I can show you which of them fit into the Drake Cutter and which of them don't. Obviously, with a much bigger ship, you'll have all the space in the world to pick whatever you like. But with the Drake Cutter, fitting in the Nova at a slight angle worked sort of easy. Fitting in the Dragonfly though, That proved to be something that wasn't going to work for us. I almost thought we were going to have our first explosion of the trip right here. Luckily, it just went its own separate way. The HoverQuad fits in the back too. It's actually my preferred choice for this type of adventure when we have a smaller ship because it means we only have to do this single pickup. Once we're loaded up with our vehicle, we're on our way to Hurston. A quick quantum jump over and we'll redirect to the comms link. At this point, our party gathered up to jump in to the same point, but again, this is totally possible as a solo player too. I'm going to keep reiterating that just so that there's no confusion. A lot of these steps are optional and this is totally solo player friendly. Well, friendly to a point. When you get to the comms link, you'll want to park your ship just outside of the trespass zone. Make sure you check the place you park. I like to line up my hoverbike with the front of my ship and keep tabs on how I enter and leave the comms link. In case there's no marker to follow back, I just need to follow the direction I came in. Let's get on over there. As you fly in, the turrets will respond and start firing, but remember this is only if you do this step with a hoverbike. If you opt to float on over just in your spacesuit, you'll be safe. The drawback though is that it will take you a little bit longer. Once we're inside, we need to find this computer right here. This is where the Tiger's Claw chip comes in. You'll pop it into the console here and the waiting game begins. We're not 100% at peace either. You might also have security ships that head through the area. They will stop by, but the job here is simple though. Make sure you keep the shutdown process going by hitting this button each time it pops up until all 5 bars are filled and you get the option to shut it down. Once it's shut down, you'll be ready to leave and get the fun part of the adventure started. This is the part that can be draining though. You need to find your ship so you can get out of here. A friend waiting for you can help, but picking up a delivery box and leaving it in the ship can help too because it will give you a marker to follow as long as the delivery quest is being tracked. Once we're out of there, the next part of the mission is to head straight down to Hurston and start hitting bunkers. If you still have your hoverbike, you should dump it at this point. The turrets around the bunkers will treat the hoverbike as an airborne ship and fire on it. But if you have an STV or if your ship is big enough to hold a cyclone, or even a big boy like this one here one of my crewmates brought along, that would work great. But remember, all of these extra vehicles are not requirements in order to do any of this. They just save you time. I have an extra set of normal armor in my ship normally, but that's totally optional. Once we're loaded with our vehicle or simply just ready to go, we're going to hit bunkers with HDSF in their name. We want to watch out though, if the bunker is currently occupied by Ninetails, it's not a bunker we want to stop at on this adventure. It's just not going to give us what we want. You always want to make sure you are a minimum of 1,800 meters away from the bunker when you land. This is how you're going to avoid getting blown up by the turrets. Land and it's time to pull out the STV to drive on over. Or you could run. It's viable. It just takes time. We'll park right up front and head down into the bunker. I want to also warn you guys that the security and the NPCs are not the only dangerous things out here. Players might come by too, so unless someone is in your party, you should make sure that they are dead. Or it could be you. Inside of the bunker, I don't recommend running. The plan is to sit at the entrance where we have cover and fire on any NPCs we have visual of. The other NPCs will react to the noise of the gunfire and make their way to you. Just keep your eyes and ears open for the Artimex guard who will be carrying a Demenko LMG that has a very unique firing sound. They are the ones we're here for. Once you get the kill confirmed, use your multi-tool to bring the body on over. If you are solo and you don't have anyone to give you cover fire, you maybe want to take your time and do this part in short bursts so that nothing can go too wrong. Try to also get the guy's LMG. The Demenko is an amazing gun. Once you have him on the elevator and you're headed up, the job is done. I grabbed the armor onto myself and left the old armor behind, returned to my ship, and we were headed off to get to the next one straight away. If you're going for more than one armor set, You can either keep spare regular armor on your ship, or you can get yourself a vehicle or an SEU box to carry the load once you leave the bunker. Otherwise, we're done here. We got our armor set, we got a D'Amico, and we're ready to head into Pyro in style. If you enjoyed this tutorial, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you are subscribed too, so that you don't miss any new content coming in the future. I try to learn something new each and every week for every single upload that comes out. So yeah, I really hope it's getting better and better. Let me know if there's a specific guide you want to see, or maybe if there's something you'd like to hear from the Star Citizen racing community, because I get to do interviews with a lot of them, and it's amazing. I absolutely love the racing scene in this game, and I hope everybody can get into it. I hope to see you guys around soon. Until next time, farewell, citizens.